Oh, g'day. Not sure what's going on. You guys give me a second. Camera. Be right back. How's that? Is that better? And someone tell me that good quality is good. Okay, alright, we might be able to actually get going soon. But no audio, really? Okay, you got audio. Okay, good. Alright, let's see. After last night, when I fell asleep pretty much, I woke up again the next morning after having a bit of a processing in my head how I was going to do this, and I changed things around quite dramatically. So you remember yesterday I was, hell, I can't even remember how I was doing it yesterday. Needless to say, I added a hell of a lot of stuff, and yeah, come on, scroll down. Okay, so what I did, and let's see if I can bring up the. That is the wrong machine to do that on. You'll have to forgive me, I'm a little bit slow with this. Alright, I'm just bringing up the manual. Thank you, sweetie. How's that food service at midnight? Brilliant. That's no good, that's no good, that's no good. If you're wondering, it's 20 past 12 here in the morning. Alright, here we go. Delayed voice. So I'm out of sync. Flippin' heck. How bad's the delay? Or is it just you fixing things? Okay, I'm gonna have to eat because I haven't eaten in ages. Thank you, Philip. Alright. Okay, so what I did in the end was I realised that all these digits are just, everything is spread around all over the place. There's no rhythm or rhyme to it. 10 milliseconds, oh, you can do. So I changed the way I generated the digits, and I created this function, and you just pass it all the segments, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you pick the numbers out of this table. Yeah, eating to reset. And then the converter function is 7 to digit, which takes all your segments. And then I basically just match what I'm looking for. Margarita? No. No margarita today, just chicken sandwich. And my water's empty. Oh well. Hello there, CryJ2000. About time you dragged yourself over here. So I've got this function now that will interpret all the bit patterns based on the the segments, and produce what we want. That was the real crucial breakthrough. So you can see here I'm doing the conversions of the main digits and then the sub digits, and then I've got to find all the decimal places, and then I look for all the different units. So you have things such as, where are they? Pardon me, Kelvin, ohms, dBm, all that sort of stuff. The multipliers, like mega, giga, milli, etc. So once I went for this sort of method, it was a lot quicker and a lot easier. And I don't know if that was what DJ was trying to say to me yesterday. If it was, well, that happens. And then I have the bar graph as well, which is this thing here, although I found it's not actually that useful. So I did a whole bunch of stuff, and in the end, where's my thing? There we go. Let's hope this works, eh? Here's 608. I even added some parameters in too. And here we go. And this is it. So it's showing up when I'm in diode mode. I'm at 20.65 volt. That's because the leads are just pointing up in the middle of nowhere. This is the bar graph. I'm going to have to find some ASCII art or something to let me have different thicknesses. And really over the top, completely pointless plot out of the values. So while you're watching that, I can take another bite of my sandwich. It's real chicken. I can catch up on chat too. Annex, I think there's... what are we up to now? Let's see. Yeah, just over 500 lines. It probably could be compacted a lot. Most of it is all this sort of stuff, just the individual picking out. But like I said, the real trick was just changing the way I picked out the data and creating that function that just did the conversion of the 7 segment bits into the letters I wanted. Yes, I'm fixing things. I will turn it into a open broadcaster thing. This is just my first startup. So this is good. I'm doing 2 things at once here. I'm doing a technical video, but I'm also doing mukbang. So I don't know if any of you have seen mukbang videos where basically people just eat, and they get like hundreds of thousands of followers. I don't get it. They just eat, and yeah. CryJ, if you're on Firefox, that'll be why your YouTube autocomplete is not working. At the moment, Annex, it's just meant to be a start out as a terminal. That reminds me, I do have a compact mode. So like if I do that, it just gives me this simple little voltage read and nothing else. You see, we could change the terminal font. There we go. Oh no, we lost it. Come back, come back. Huge. Yeah, huge is good. Hey, Station 240. Well, I don't normally go to sleep until around about 1 most nights. So midnight's about when I finally start to relax because I've got all the fur kids in. And then I don't have to fret about them being outside. Hey, RTC Extreme. Nice of you to drop in. Shouldn't that be 20 millivolts? No, this is actually 20 volts. It's in diode mode, and it's open circuit, so it'll be reading the full 20 volts. I'll just go over and switch the meter into a different mode, and you can see it change. Okay, I made a mess of it because I... Whoops. Sorry, that was my door slamming. Okay, it's now currently running in just millivolt mode, just open. There is a problem that I haven't quite fixed, but I will get to that in the next day or two. And that is, I'm just going to change my terminal back to medium. Oh, we're lucky at the moment it's positive volts. It's funny, during the day it was negative millivolts and during the night it's currently positive. It's unusual. I can see one fault already. You could hear the beeping. That's pretty impressive because that's, like I said, it's about 6-7 meters away. Oh well. So I'm going to have to put more buffers in here. Anyway, so it's working, and it is the USB adapter, serial to USB adapter that is at fault. I tried it again I even did it on a Raspberry Pi. And funnily enough, the first block starts out okay, and then after the first block it starts running off and misbehaving. I do have my proper FTDI one coming in tomorrow. I've already ordered it. Why is it? It's just sitting there and it's just drifting in the air. So it's picking up whatever's floating in the air. It's open circuit. Because of the high impedance of the input, it will grab any stray voltage around the place. Put it next to a radio and it will probably go all over the place. Hey Amy, nice to see you here. You can watch me eat. And that is climbing up. It's going to collapse at some point when it goes over the threshold. You can see it's running at 1 gigaohm input impedance, so yeah. Station 2, yeah, they would be. I mean, any sort of thing that's coming around, though, it would probably be dominated more by whatever RF thing, lights, electrical wiring, that sort of stuff, more than likely. So I'm not really planning on going very long on this. I just wanted to let you all know I sorted out the decoding and everything, and it works. And I can turn this into a GUI if I want. Yeah, CryJ, I want to try a Pi 3. I've got a Pi 2 at the moment, but it's not quick enough. So the Pi 3 will be an interesting one to try. Food. I hope you guys aren't hungry. Oh, White Ox. So, beyond this, it's really more a case of building a GUI. Well, I mean, the text mode's already done and good and fine. If I want to do a graphics version, that's easy enough. Using 8 bits now. No, it's using still 7-bit. But what the problem mainly was the PL2303s, although I think they're fake ones, they don't handle the 7-bit properly. They seem to eat into the framing bits on the packet, on the window. So I've tried all sorts of different things. This is running off a dedicated serial COM port, and it's set at 7-bit mode, so it's all working fine. I went over that data looking for patterns, and there really isn't. None of this data is visible as a pattern in the through the USB ones. It's just mangling it. And I went searching through some other Google articles and whatnot, and found that a fair few people who have tried 7-bit mode seem to run into the same issue. It does something strange. Because if I eat comfortably, Alex, I'll, I don't know, I guess I'll eat quickly. That's close enough. Will there be a Windows version? Well, I'll put the source code out. The source code will be free. I'll upload it to GitHub, and you can do whatever you like with it. The only trouble with this is that it's probably not going to be applicable to very many meters. Most of the meters that I know on the market use a more sane data transfer system. This one is the first one I've ever seen that uses the LCD panel data dump. I can easily enough make this a long-term logging one as well. I wonder where Chris Long is. Chris, you out there? Does anyone want me to do jumping jacks? I'm not going to do jumping jacks. Hello, Sanaka. I see you made it. I saw you didn't quite get to the previous one. Yeah, serial over infrared, that was always a fun thing back in the late 90s and early 2000, particularly when it was over the air, actually air gapped. It was pretty much useless. Thank goodness Wi-Fi started to come in pretty quickly. At least with the infrared on these, it's, they're butted up against each other, so there's no real problems. I am definitely not taking my shirt off. yeah, maybe 6, 7 years ago when I was playing squash every day pretty much, that might have been worth it, but no, definitely not now. Now I'm like a tub of lard. So I guess I'll kill this. There we go, leaves a bit of a mess. I'm not going to try and do a GUI version right now, that's a whole separate thing. Yeah, nice try, nice try. Not enough money for that. Not even going to contemplate it. I'll code for money, code for food. I'll just see. But yeah, the program's starting to get quite large now. I still haven't finished everything, but I think it's more than good enough for what I'm planning to do. So I can sit here, I can put this graphs point up to many thousands, I can make it log to a disk, all sorts of things. Once you've decoded the data and you've got it on the PC, you can do basically anything you like with it. So, unfortunately, as I've said before, unless you have another Protek, or you're unfortunate enough to have another multimeter that is like this, where they're doing a LCD panel 4-bit data dump, then it's probably not going to be much use. Hello Maurice. The only useful thing could be is if you utilize the code with a different protocol, but then the bulk of this code is all about handling this protocol. Everything else doesn't really make a lot of sense. Yeah, will code for food, yes I will. That's pretty much what I've been doing for the last 20 years. So I imagine most of you are actually getting ready for work or something at this point. Or what is it, mid 12:30? Does that make it like 10:30 in New York at the moment? I shouldn't. Yeah. Any future coding projects? Well, I tend to code depending on what comes to hand for the work I'm doing. Particularly if it's data recovery from devices, maybe something to do with open broadcast or YouTubing or whatever. I don't usually have any projects lined up. I do need to get back to open board view a little bit. Pardon me. The big problem we've got at the moment for open board view is trying to decode the PCB files, and they're driving me insane. No one's got any data that I want, specifications, things like that. Alright, that's a nice little package there of all my all my Protek manual stuff. Let's launch up another window. I'm just going to bring up WX, Hexedit. Nope. Yeah, that should do it. Cyprus. I didn't read. Oh, okay. Interesting place to be, Cyprus. Certainly different from what I'm used to. 335, putting off charging the car battery. Philip, you better not like leave yourself in a situation where you really desperately need to get going in the car and then you've got a flat battery. Goodness knows I've done that enough times. So this is a PCB binary file which I've been trying to get decoded. and it's not encrypted or anything like that. All the data is visible. You crying yet? Customers network install Microsoft. Oh, yuck, yucky, yuck, yuck, yuck. Yeah, I'll leave you guys to that whole crypto lock stuff. You're gonna make Abby even no. You're trolling me there, I'm pretty sure. It does work on Android though. It will work on the Android tablets. If you look around on eBay, maybe someone's got some Protek 608s. Like I said, the big problem I've got with them is that I have to lead switch for the diode mode, and it's a pain. I should run 3 leads out of it and save me switching back and forth. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of you are probably aware of ZXW, and the reason why I want to be able to code the PCB files is, of course, then it makes iPhone repairs available on Open Board View without needing ZXW. And if I scroll through all this data, you very quickly get the sense that there are fixed record sizes. There's a lot of text floating around in here. Like all these are probably network names. Let's scroll down. Like chip names. So it's all there, but it's trying to work out how to stitch it together. It's in a database format of some sort, where it's the PCB files, these are pads PCB files, they're all in many layers. We're only going to need a couple of those layers, but we've still got to work out which one's which. Comment UF 705, yeah, I'd be really surprised if you could get the 608s anymore. The last time I recall seeing them in stock was well over 7 years ago. Oh, what distro is this, Annex? This is just Ubuntu 17.04, but I put Fluxbox on it as my window manager. I don't do the whole desktop manager thing. So yeah, this is the current Open Board View issue, trying to decode this data, and if we can get this decoded, then it saves a lot of people having to use ZXW, particularly if you're a Linux user, because while you can get a PADS PCB viewer under Windows, it is available, it's free. It would be nice to have it on Linux, and subsequently it would also be available on Mac. Well, at the moment ZXW, yeah, they'll probably hate me for it. The advantage they do have, of course, is that they have all the annotations and all the ancillary data, the metadata that comes with it. I already do annotations in Open Board View, but they're only local annotations, and so so you can put there, and you can put an annotation up, CV whatever there. It should be 5.6 volt. If so, you can do that sort of thing already in Open Board View, but we do want it to be sort of like a network-wide distributed wiki, something like that. But that can be applied separately from Open Board View itself. Oh, you saw the 608 on AliExpress? Okay. Where's that? I'm going to have to now have a look. Oh, thank God, none of the tabs were bad ones. Okay, slash dot's probably not something that I want people to see me watching. Wow, it's slow. Oh yeah, it will be slow because I'm doing all the uploading. So what is it? What have we got? Protek. 608. I've lost my chat window. Where is my chat window? Yeah, the only trouble with the sort of the wiki type annotations and things like that is trying to find the trust factor. So how do we know that the new annotations that have been added in are actually trustworthy? And at the same time, you don't want to have to sort of micromanage this sort of thing, and you don't want to force or have this whole I only approve of you or I only approve of you sort of. So there's got to be a way of trying to get the trust thing. It works fine on things like Wikipedia because there's such a large number of people overseeing it. So, Slashdot is an old technology news site. It's from like the 1996 sort of thing. It used to be good, and now it's just habit for me to go there and find trash. Well, I'm not coming up there on AliExpress. Take 608. I mean, this company J-Car used to stock them. It's kind of where I bought them from. And they're too slow. I doubt you'll be able to get any new, that's for sure. How can anyone into Geek Stuff know what Slashdot is? Well, if you've been sheltered for enough years, you probably won't. I don't go to, what are those sites called? Reddit and places like that. I sort of missed that one. How did you get the diagrams for Open Board View program? If you want to get diagrams and things like that for Open Board View, and even though Lewis and everyone else won't tell you, which is understandable, I do suggest just going to badcaps.net. And if you go to their forum section, where's the flippin' forum? And say you want to, there is no search in here. Oh yes there is. Search this forum. What is it? 820 board view. Are you human? Complete this. Oh my god. Alright, I'm going to have to capture on. Assemble. What? Brutal. Anyway, like I said, if you go in here, you search for the board that you're looking for, you will find the board views. UFC fan. Well, what UFC is that, like United Fighting something? What was it, McGregor or something like that? You have to excuse me. I'm not a big sports person. I don't tend to follow it much. For me, sport is watching two geeks duke it out over whether BSD or free BSD is better. So it's not human, yeah. That's whoops! I failed that test. Should know how to damn. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. It is good to get hits on YouTube and whatnot, but I dare say I'd probably get a nasty email from someone at some point. Alright. How are we going for time here? The nice thing about working for yourself is you don't have to get up early. Usually I try for about 8:30. It gives me enough time to get my human on before people turn up. Well, I think I'm mostly done here. If you're wondering about the other stuff that I do, you can get on my website. And then I've got a whole bunch of other software that I do. Obviously YouTube. This is my business page. These are all my open source programs. I only recently just put them up. And the only reason why I ended up on GitHub in the first place was because of Open Board View. So it's, yeah. But I got a couple of things. I haven't uploaded everything, but the bulk of my things are up there. The ones that are actually useful still. So yeah, if you want to look around, okay, I'm not the person who does ImageUE. I've just forked that. I had to make some modifications for Open Board View, and I'm waiting for the parent or the master to be updated with that. Until then, I'm going to have to just keep patching. Let's see. Alright, I think I'm pretty much done. Why don't I make programming lessons? Because I'm really not that good in that respect. If you watched the Jessa stream today, where she was going on about, I think it was Raj or something like that versus Lewis. Unfortunately, I'm a bit like Lewis in the sense of I will get frustrated very quickly and just, yeah, take off. I don't really have the tenacity to sit around and teach people. I'm happy to share the work that I find. I'm happy to share that sort of stuff on my own terms and let everyone else pick at it, like, you know, find some use with it. But creating lessons, and I'm not good at that. Stream coding, yeah. I didn't watch all of Lewis's stream today because I saw he had the Southern Comfort, and I thought, oh no, I was wondering whether that Southern Comfort was going to hit the halfway mark or not. But I think he might have stopped because he did get onto Jess's stream to make comments and start trolling her page. I saw he changed her YouTube emblem to Pepe. And then he roused at me because I noticed it. Certainly, at least he didn't seem as imberated as he was, I think it was last week. That was pretty crazy. Alright. Oh, one thing I do want to show, I've got a MacBook I need to fix. And this one's been sitting in red wine for about a year. I get it. Alrighty. This is it. Nice MacBook Pro. I have to turn this down and then you can see my gut. No, back up. Yep, that'll do. Oh, it smells so bad. Oh, okay, you can have a look at that filth. I'm just going to stretch out my camera for this one. Yeah, I'm fairly sure that's done by bugs or something that got in there for a bit of a party. So, and if you have a look at all this, you can see that that's pretty wrecked. This is one of the few times that I'll probably ignore Lewis's advice and I'm probably going to ultrasonic this before I get started on it, even if it's just a quick, like 1 minute ultrasonic or something, because that's just wrecked through and through. It's all over the place. Yes, it's definitely vintage. Not sure what board this one is yet. I've forgotten. Clean, forgotten. I can't remember where the damn number is on this one. If I tilt it appropriately, I should be able to see it. Oh look, it's got a JTAG connector on it. I'll have to, yeah, I think we'll have to get approval to have that repealed and replaced. Come on, you had focus for 2 seconds there. Maybe I'll get my big fat finger out of the way. The JTAG will be removed. Mr. Jack. Friendly Felix guy. Jack Rhythm, you and Eli, mate. I've never actually subscribed to Eli or even watched any of this stuff. And this is going to seem rather unpatriotic and completely off topic, but I just unsubscribed from EV blog today too. I just never really seem to watch this stuff. There's nothing against him. I mean, he's a fellow Australian. But, yeah, for some reason, I don't find myself watching his stuff. I much prefer the work of Lewis and Chris and Jason Fulmer of STS, those sort of, and Jessa. Yeah, I prefer that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to get back up here. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Yeah. So that's my project for when I'm bored. I probably should wash it soon, because otherwise it will probably have eaten its way all the way through. Take a good picture of the board before cleaning may help you. Yeah, I do agree. I was going to put it in a flatbed scanner and get a 4800 DPI scan of it or something like that. Slap a post-it note into, you're so smart, you fix it. What, to send it to Lewis? He'll hate me even more. Bitch about how we moderate. Oh, I've got moderators. I forgot I put moderators in here. Okay, so it's not just me about Dave. I mean, yeah, I enjoy his stuff, but it just doesn't really sort of fit into what I want to watch. There's a certain amount of time during the day, and I kind of want to sort of pack in as much experience and learning as I can, and just watching Lewis's videos and Jess and all the rest of it, it's kind of like learning on the job vicariously through them. I did see Dave had a thing about the Voyager satellites, and I thought that's always interesting hearing about the Voyagers, but beyond that, no. So plan, nothing against Lewis, right. I'm just scrolling through chat. Right, listen up. Oh well, yeah, so yes, that's my project. I don't really have much else really to demonstrate at the moment. I imagine I'm probably not going to do another live stream until I get my workshop sorted out. I need to get a whole new setup of benches in there. You've all seen my just plywood table type thing, and that was fine for a while, but I'm finding it too messy now. Everything's disorganized. I've simply got too many pieces of equipment being packed in a too small area, and it creates a bit of a cascade disaster effect. When I pull one thing out, it just goes out of hand. We just don't get anywhere. Yeah, we don't get anywhere. It's my job, Annex. I work for myself. I'm sole trader, as we call them here in Australia. We don't deal with souls, but yeah, close enough. So yeah, I work for myself. I do fairly much everything that comes to hand. So be it programming, electronics repair, general PC cleanups, whatever comes to hand. It's a small town of about 5,000 people locally, 8,000 people in the greater region. I need to move into mail orders a lot more, which is why I need to get myself. This is why I'm having to redo the workshop as well. I need to be able to get the microscopes and everything else like that sorted out, because people are not going to mail order me PC laptops and things, at least not sane people. They might mail order me hard drives, but yeah, I'm probably not going to do them much other than things like TVS I/O failures, just things like that. Or if it's just bad sector failure, then yeah, okay, I'll do that. I do that a fair bit actually. But it's going to be more small things like iPhone repairs, such, or iPhone data recovery, or maybe MacBooks, because at least the MacBook people are rich enough to do it. Your voice don't match your face at all. Oh well, too bad. Yeah, this is what it is. It's probably the microphone in the Logitech. Does it sound different to the pre-recorded videos? Oh, the delay, right. Okay, the delay. I wonder what's going on there. I wonder if I can audio input capture. There's stuff around with it. I can't possibly imagine how you can reset the audio. Let me just disable audio for a second. Okay, is that any better? If there are deaf or partially deaf people out there, well, really the partially deaf ones, is the lip reading back in place now? I depend a lot on lip reading myself. That was the thing that really got me into watching Lewis, is with his audio setup, with his DPA mic and whatnot, he was one of the very few YouTube people I could understand very well without scrambling for subtitles or anything like that. It was just his setup and everything. It was brilliant. It was a nice change. Half a second audio sync delay. Oh, Dr. Teddy. Well, anyone want to tell me how I can fix that on this? Do I need to restart the stream, or should I? Probably not even going to bother. Filters, properties, cancel, filters. The only thing I've got is a gain filter at the moment. Still desynced. I don't have, all I've got is gain, noise suppression, noise gate, compressor. I probably should have a compressor at some point. Still desynced. Halfway. Oh well, I'll stop around for another day. Alright. Is there anything else anyone needs to ask? Otherwise, I'm probably going to finish up. I need to go turn off that computer which is running the multimeter. Hopefully tomorrow it will turn up that cable that I want, and it'll be interesting to see whether it works properly. And if it doesn't, then I've obviously got another problem to deal with, but I'm fairly sure it should work. A radio channel. I used to do radio, ham radio back in the 80s, but yeah, not anymore. Yeah, well, fixing things the other day, it was the same settings and it seemed alright, so I think it's probably, it could be OBS just having a bad night, or maybe even YouTube. I'm already at the end of chat. Oh well. Kill that. Kill that. Do I need to care about that? No. That's not going anymore. That's good. So I will I will clean up this code and I'll upload it into GitHub so you can all have a look at it, have a laugh or whatever. And I'll continue to use it and develop it, and I will use it for my open live streams, things like that, and of course pre-recorded video. The programming tutorials, I will sit here and I'll go, yeah, no, my brain won't let me go there. I did do tutoring for a little while when I first had my first sort of proper paid job. The sad thing is though, that was tutoring Microsoft Office of all things, and also Novell NetWare, how to set that up for people. That's when I kind of worked out that it wasn't my thing. And the problem with coding is that the best way to code, or at least the best way I usually find to learn how to code, is to have a compelling reason to be coding. Trying to learn how to code just because it's there and you're trying to just learn by route is quite ineffective, I find. Perhaps if you can find a reason to write a program, that makes things 100 times easier. And you might not, say, you might not progress on an even front in terms of the complexity, in terms of the language understanding. But I honestly don't think that really matters too much. If you chase down one particular aspect of the language, as long as you get what you want done. And then you've got a form of foundation. And then you can come back when you get to your next project and it will take you down another path, or you'll branch out from your previous path. So the more traditional way that schools and universities tend to teach now, which is a progressively increase of complexity front, they have to do it that way, but it doesn't really tend to stick so well. I've got books over here. I've got a 20-year-old, where is that book? Yeah, there it is. This here is a book that, well, it's got to be getting to 25 years old, over 25 years now. It was written by my C lecturer at university. And when I say C lecturer, they just have a class for learning C, but it's not really their main thing. It's more of just like here's how you use a tool for the course that I'm really going to teach. So I don't know what he was teaching for this one. Probably either compilers or operating system design. Anyway, but this book, I have held on to it for so long because you can see all the dirty marks there. It has been my constant port of reference. I know a lot of people use K&R, but I never really enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed this one. Unfortunately, you can't get this one anymore. That's to be expected. It's ancient. I'm just checking chat. Stream now. Philip ended up wanting to punch the person teaching. Oh, please, bros. Oh, man, yeah. The one I hate is when people come up, and I don't know the people. They go, mate, I heard you're really good at this stuff, mate. Yeah, you're a genius, mate. Can you fix this, mate, for nothing? Sort of thing. It's like if I hear the word mate from someone I really don't know, then I know they're trying to come in at me sideways and get a discount or something like that. And if I know someone and they call me that, then I'm going to assume that they're trolling me. What language for beginners? Good question. I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer that. I started out with GW Basic, which I think is a terrible language. Pascal was nice because it's durable. And I mean, these days you can get, I think it's Lazarus Pascal, That's nice. But by and large, it seems for skill development to something you can commercialize later, it's probably going to be some sort of either Python. Python's probably a good one. Don't make me do Python though, because as I said in the other stream, I can't handle the active white space. It kills me. So oh, Samuel, I don't know if I said before. Yeah, it's Ubuntu 17.04, and I use Fluxbox as my window manager. C++, Open Board View is written in C++, but I actually don't know C++ very well. I know C, but C++ is technically a distinct language on its own, and it's only because the compilers let you mishmash it together that you can get away with this sort of thing. When I started adding my stuff into Open Board View, Pionov, who sometimes is in here, he would have to go along and like wrap me over the knuckles and stuff, because I'd be writing everything in the C way when I should really be writing in the C++ way, particularly with things like vectors rather than arrays, all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, I'll do it now, and I'm comfortable with the C++ and Open Board View, and I've extended it like 2-3 times. But until 9 months ago, it really wasn't something I ever touched. You see. What's that, CryJ? You trying to say something? This starts with C and ends with T. Cat? Yeah, alright. I'm going to ignore that one. No. So, as for C++ being a beginner's language, I wouldn't really recommend it. I think the problem with C++ is that there are so many different templates, tools, facilities, libraries, all that stuff. There's so much information out there for it that a lot of people tend to get caught up with a particular library, and it's not actually C++, it's like some other custom extension on it. And so it gets them a little bit confusing. They've got to come all the way back to basics again later. Now, if there is one war you want me to start, it's like GPL license versus BSD or MIT license. A good example, the other week I wanted to work on some code and it used glib. And glib is a bit like the boost system in C++. It's an extension that has a lot of nice features. But the trouble is, once you tie into it, you start using that as habit, you're forever bound to it. And if you try to move your code to another system, or perhaps a different license or something like that, you may find you just can't do that because you've already entangled yourself so much. And that's where I like C, because it's rough. It's, well, not really rough. It's elegant, it's simple, it's a bit protracted in what you have to write. I mean, all this sort of stuff. In Pascal, you can do this much quicker with the object-oriented Pascal, and actually, no, normal Pascal you can do it where you use the with statement, and it saves you having to write out all this prefix crap. Anyway, so for learning languages, for actual language structures, C is quite nice. Obviously, there's always the pointer hell, overruns, memory issues, things like that. Yeah, C really is, how could you say, it's not forgiving, but at least the modern day compilers pick up a lot of that. And the Valgrind program, if you've got problems with your code crashing, like that, Valgrind tends to find it very quickly. So, as I say, I would say Python's probably not a bad place to go. It seems to land in the middle, but C++ tends to lead people using Boost, which is fine until you find you can't go elsewhere. And C with the glib, I just avoid glib. I probably made my work harder in some ways because I've had to write my own code, my own functions that glib already has. But at the same time, I've saved myself a lot of dramas when it comes to licensing and porting. But Open Board View doesn't use Boost at all, even though it's C++. And we're able to port that to Android, Mac, Windows, Linux. It'll be on BSD if they wanted to. So Ruby, I never got into Ruby. I heard about it. I've sort of seen some snippets of it. I didn't really do anything with it. Lua was another nice one. That's Lua, but it doesn't really have the popularity of Ruby. Lua is kind of like a Python that's a lot lighter in weight. It's in its own kind of world. I think it's Lua. I'm fairly sure it's Lua. Let me just pull up. Where's my... Yeah. Lua is one of those funny things that's around a fair bit, but no one really realizes. Apparently it's used a lot with gaming systems. So that script you just do is Python. Which script are you referring to? Sorry if I missed the line there. I don't actually do any Python myself. For me, I'm basically bash scripting, shell scripting, C, PHP. Yeah, I actually do use PHP a lot. Assembly. The only time I really use assembly is when I'm working on microcontrollers, and the only time I'm doing it on the microcontrollers is if I've got a particularly small unit or some very specific purpose. Otherwise, for the most part, I'm just doing C for the microcontrollers. Yes, well, you did well, CryJ2000, to behave yourself there, which was good, yes. The multimeter, this is all in C, so yeah, that's all plain, boring ANSI C99, or at least fairly close to C99. Amy Marie, you're talking about the GPL versus BSD wars in terms of don't poke the bear. So, what advantages does Ubuntu have over Win 10? Well, it's not susceptible to the crypto lock at the moment, that's for sure. I think the crypto lock issue that's going around at the moment may not be as severe as they're making it out to be, potentially, only because I noticed one thing there. It says if it's on the internet, and I suspect they may be meaning without a firewall or a router in front of it, because I believe it works through the SMB Windows sharing ports, and as far as I know, that doesn't go. Most people's firewalls are not set to share that by default. The big thing I like about Linux systems, regardless of what distro it is that I can handle multiple screens, multiple desktops. I can jump off to other systems, like doing X over Secure Shell. Without that, I feel crippled. I'd have to use, on Windows, I have to use VNC, and that is nowhere near as efficient as X over Secure Shell, particularly if you've got compression on. It's a case of I'm very comfortable with Linux, and comfortable now with Ubuntu. If I want packages, I just apt install them. I don't have to worry about things, the limited viruses. I mean, I do miss a lot of the things that Windows has. For a start, a decent video editor. Fortunately, we now have Shotcut in Linux, which is probably on par with the original Windows home video editor system. Okay, it's got a couple more features, but it's certainly no Lightworks or anything like that. Though I do believe Lightworks is available for Linux too now. So, yeah, there's things I miss out on being in Linux, but the sort of work I do and everything, I don't tend to notice it. I'm only using for, here I'm using EXT4. I saw some real disasters with Riser FS, which kept me well clear of that. I wouldn't mind trying ZFS, but we've got a licensing issue there. Obviously, ZFS can't be legally brought over to the GPL side of things. I know there's, what do they call it? BTRFS, I think it is, where they're emulating a lot of the functionality, but it would have been nice to have the actual ZFS. So, predominantly it's probably a case of I grew up on Z80 systems and then XTs and then jumping over to Unix terminals for university, so I'm very much used to this. I never had Windows as my own personal system. I actually went DOS to OS2 and then to Unix. Yeah, you're right, Maurice. If you're doing sort of like sysadmin type things or monitoring things, it is just so much easier on Linux. But at least I find it is. I know you can get some really nice applications for Windows that can monitor everything for you, and even though you've got to pay through the nose for some of them, I mean, really, they are correct when they say that this purchase cost of licensed software is the small cost overall. I don't use Linux because it's free. I use it because that's what I like. Is that I'm just going to learn now, see that for a few days, you just do that. With coding this Multimeter program, realistically, if say for my job they said, look, we need you to write a piece of code that does this for the PC or whatever, reads off this Multimeter, and if I didn't have the whole, what was it, corrupted data problem with the serial port interface, it is something that probably could have been knocked over in a day, maybe a day and a half. It's taken a bit longer because of all those issues, but to be fair, like most things in life, you will always get issues. If it wasn't these ones, it probably could have been something else. A lot of this coding is really repetitive, simple stuff. There's no exotic magic sauce in here. It's just long, boring things. Yeah, probably the most exotic sauce here is this piece of code, and it's mostly just simple integer math and shifting bits around. Yeah. Windows is free. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I'll make sure I don't charge people $150 or whatever it is to get Windows 10 license for them. I know you can get around that with the, what is it? If you've got a Windows 7 license and then you just say, activate the accessibility assistant things, then you can get it for free. I did try BSD for a while, FreeBSD, NetBSD, all of those, and I liked them, but I still came back to Linux in the end because it was just sufficiently more on the consumer lean for applications, things like that. If I was buried in my dungeon and just doing purely research type work, then yeah, BSD of some type would probably be my thing. So I should get my new cable tomorrow around about, I'd say in about 12 hours time I will get that. It's coming up from Melbourne, which is roughly 3,000 kilometres south of here, overnight shipping. It's a crack up. I can get stuff from Melbourne overnight to this country town, but I can't get stuff from 120 kilometres away through normal post in anything less than 3 or 4 days. Yeah, I know what you meant, fixing things. I know what you meant. I keep a hoard of Windows 7, Vista, I keep all those stickers. Or if people are going to throw their machine away, but for some reason they want to possess it to throw it away, I still take a photo of the back so that I can, if I need to, use Windows 7 license. I mean, I've got quite a few of them now. I can stop hoarding them now, because you can use them for registering your Windows 10 too. So like if you install Windows 10 fresh, you can use the Windows 7 license usually to activate it. Usually. Not going to guarantee that. The open board view software, I've forgotten when I started that. My GitHub will actually tell me. It was already written by a person called Chlorodite. Let's see. So it looks like June 21st is when I started working on open board view. And I went flat out for several months until probably around about November here. And then I sort of cooled off a bit. Stack of them, yes, a big stack of them. And yeah, there is a big community for Linux now. It used to be sort of like, oh, don't talk to those weirdos over there. You know, they've got long beards, they smell funny, and they look like they need more sunlight. But it's become more socially acceptable. My own father uses it. I didn't make him use it. He just chose to use it, and he now gets other people to use it as well. So it's definitely getting over that barrier. There's a lot of things that could still improve, but it's heading there. It's heading there. So, Annex, in response to your question, yeah, it looks like about a 6-month process, and I probably went overboard. I dare say I lost a fair bit of money doing that, because I should have been doing other work, but instead I was stuffing around modifying open board view left, right and centre. What do I personally think about Linus, as in Linus Torvalds? I think he's the right sort of guy for this project. Honestly, I know a lot of people feel like he's abrasive and such, but if he wasn't who he is, he would have been crushed by everybody else. That is, when you write code and then you have people submit ideas and things like that, it'd be nice if they did it in a way that was friendly. I don't mean like flowery or anything like that. I just mean in a way where they're not trying to actually undercut you, stab you in the back, or pull one over you or something. It's a habit I've noticed a lot of suggestion makers have. They're like trying to just hit you over the head or something, and like go, I'm superior to you and this is what you should have. One of the favorite things is, this software is not professional unless you have this feature in it. No one's going to take it seriously. I have heard that so many times, and the only reason they say that is because they're really thinking, I like your software, I would really like this feature in it, but I don't know how to convey that in a nice way, so I'm going to try and guilt you or force you or undermine your sense of self-worth to get what I want. So when I see requests like that, I'm just sort of like, oh, get stuffed. Yeah. And it's sad, because sometimes they do have really good suggestions, but they need to spend a minute or two just trying to work out how to be, present it in a way that will actually ensure that they get what they want, or at least give it the best chance. Most of these people, when they give bad suggestions like that, they put themselves right at the end of the queue. So, which is probably why they're angry, because it's sort of like a vicious cycle. Charge for open board view. Well, I could. I have a feature I would like to do, but it's going to require a commercial software license for me to be able to add it. And of course, there's nothing stopping me or anyone else forking open board view, because it is MIT license, and producing a commercial version of it. And there's no code that has to come back. which of course is where the GPL people lose their shit and just like pull their hair out and start bleeding from the eyes. In my experience, I've found, even with the BSD license, MRT license, I have had more commercial companies approach me and give me money to add features so that they can use my software. Whereas the GPL situation, more often than not, they will just go away and find another solution altogether or do it in-house. So, yeah. Yes, people should just be nice. I agree, fixing things. I mean, it's not that hard. I don't know why they've got to come out with that attitude, that whole undermining thing. It just beats me. Anyway, getting back to what Alex was asking, I think Linus is the right sort of guy. He's got the right personality. He takes the hits, he has to, and he gives it back just as hard. Because this is a kernel, given that Linux is just the kernel. I shouldn't say just, but millions and millions of devices are depending on this. So, yeah, it's a little bit tactless, but I think he might have had a bit of tact right at the start. I seem to recall him being a little bit nicer earlier on. Now this seems like I'm being a bit hypocritical here, but at this stage, people should know the ropes and they should know the standards required to start putting stuff into the Linux kernel. And if they can't step up to that standard, then they really shouldn't be doing it in the first place. 10S, I haven't looked at 10S. Maybe you guys can tell me. I was meaning to tonight, earlier on, have a look at what actually 10S is. Is it something horrible like, what was that, Windows RS, or what was the one that was limited to the ARM chipsets only? But yeah, I suspect from what I'm seeing on the internet, S is going to start meaning suckful or sucks or something like that. But yeah, with a lot of the code, I would get a lot of suggestions coming in, and I'd put them straight to the rubbish bin. Who is Linus 12voids? Linux. No, it's not the same guy as Linus Tech Tips. Completely different. Linus T is Linus 12voids. This dude. He is essentially the creator of Linux. But don't ask Richard Stallman about him. Richard Stallman probably will go red in the face very quickly, at least what you can see in front of his beard, and start raging because there's this huge war between the two guys. Stallman says that Linux would never have become successful if he hadn't relied on the GNU tool sets or other bits and pieces. So Linux became popular because Linus created the kernel, mixed it with the GNU tools, and created the operating system, in effect. And he got all the fame, whereas Richard Stallman got not a lot of fame and the wrong kind of fame. So yeah, there's a bit of resentment there. So if all banks, Facebook, and millions of other users use Linux, why don't we have good support? Half of that comes down to legal patent licensing issues. There's a lot of code and patent. I'm losing my speech capability here. That goes behind creating those graphics cards, and they're not all in-house, like NVIDIA, AMD, they're all sub-licensing or cross-licensing with other groups. So they can't, even if they themselves say, okay, look, we're going to open up the spec for this board, they can't without getting approval from all the other patent holders. And it's just a nightmare. They are improving on it, but it's really ugly. For me, on all my Linux workstations, I just try to go for Intel graphics chipsets. They work well enough. I play Dota 2 on this thing, and it's only a G3540, 3420. which has got a pretty lowly sort of Intel graphics in it, and I will run it at full screen. I mean, the quality's not brilliant, but it's good enough to play. Like Jobs and Gates, yeah, I mean, yeah, sort of similar kind of thing, I guess, in terms of head, banging, but yeah, Jobs and Gates, yeah, interesting debate. When I was young, I always thought Bill Gates was a brilliant programmer. I mean, when I say young, I'm talking like 9, 10 years old. But then it soon dawned on me, it wasn't that he was brilliant at coding or anything like that. He's a brilliant business person, a ruthless one, and very smart, and that's how he built his enterprise. Jobs, on the other hand, he was also brilliant in that respect, but he also had that passion, the artistic passion, which worked well because you had these two great forces going in parallel. Oh, is that true, CryJ2000? I didn't realise that it now works with the native on the 10 series. Too bad the 10 series costs like $1,000. What's the next one they're bringing out? Is it going to be 1160, 1180, or are they going to be something like 2060, 2080? Which digit are they knocking up? I've got a little bit of water left in here. I feel like I'm out in the desert. God damn it. Ah. Oh well, the old facial hair needed a wash anyway. So for me, I have tried using NVIDIA cards and AMD cards on my Linux workstations, but I always end up just going back to the Intel. With the latest Intel series, like the i5, 6th or 7th generation, the graphics chips are quite potent, so I don't have any compelling reason anymore. Yeah. Okay, so we're thinking it might be the 1180 GTX or so. Yeah, I had a young fellow down the road who wants to upgrade his gaming machine, and we were looking at prices for the 1080s or 1060s. I couldn't believe it. It was just like, holy dooly. I could buy a microscope for that. Yeah. For those who are wondering, the microscope is comparatively cheap. The AMScope ones are only about $500 for what I'm doing. But it's the freight to Australia that's the problem. That's like $300-400 freight. And I don't want to spend $300 to $400 locally for one of those 10 by 20 by only fixed zoom type ones, when I know I'm probably going to run through it pretty quickly. I'm going to be like, this isn't doing what I want. So I figured just wait a bit longer, get a bit more money, and get the proper job. Where are you on the project? Job? Oh, Lorm. Yeah, I'll show you, just for you. Here we go. I better clear that screen. Alright. Crap. There we go. So this is it, Lorm. As you can see, it's showing here a millivolt reading, and that's indicating the what mode it's in. It's currently using 1 gigaohm input state, and this is just a plotting graph. And I've got some, I wouldn't call them bugs, I just call them usability issues. This thing up here is the bar graph, the 16-bit bar graph. Until I can get some ASCII out, I don't think it's going to be much use. I'd say this aspect here, and then maybe the graphing, and I was thinking of perhaps dropping that to just 8 levels, and then having another 8 for a long-term graph, sort of like a 1/10 rate or something like that. How much is internet in Australia? I just switched over to what we call NBN, which is an absolute clusterfuck in Australia. We were supposed to be getting fibre to the house. That was the original plan for about $45 billion. And they stuffed it up. and now they've replaced it with fibre to the node, which means that every block has a big green metal wart on the corner of the block, and it runs copper fibre to the node, and then runs copper, uses the existing copper to the houses, and we're limited to about 100/40 speeds on that. I'm one of the lucky ones, funnily enough. I'm paying, I think it's about $50 Australian a month, unlimited download, and I'm getting 28.6 at the moment. I may push up to go for the full 140 options, and according to the sync rate on my modem I can get 80/50, so it's not too bad. Did I try Rimroof the... Yeah. Did that once back at university on an assignment. That was no fun. You're on the wrong side of the country anyway, fixing things. They'll probably cost me just as much to get it over here. So yeah, look, now I'm getting the proper USB serial cable tomorrow, according to the courier, and I will test it with USB. This right now is going through the main board still that has a dedicated serial port. And from here I'll make some different sort of display modes and see what I can add into the Open Broadcaster. I would dare say, yes, our internet probably is better than what you've got over in Cyprus. It's not what we should have had, and I don't think we will recover from this political disaster for at least another 30 years. If we're lucky, they may sort of silently move over to what we call fibre to the distribution point, where what they do is they essentially have a fibre goes past the house, and then they just run copper to the house. So you have fibre on the walk path, footpath, whatever you want to call it, and then goes into the house as copper. It's an acceptable compromise. It's still pretty cheap, and politically they can get away. Yeah, it gives them a bit of a loophole. So they'll probably go for that more and more. The fibre to the node thing with the big fat green distribution boxes is just it's a disaster. Oh, sorry, Alpha, I didn't see your comment there. Good tests and reviews on Linux and graphics on the Fronix website. Okay. Is that referring to the 1080s or anything like that, or just do you mean in general, as in the website? So I have used that website a few times when I was looking for things. I'm trying to compare different low-life graphics cards. Like for me, a high-end graphics card around this place is a GT710. I think I've got a fanless GT710 around here that I use occasionally to test things. Fixing things, yeah, I saw that they're having to pay back and whatnot, and rightly so, because a lot of people have gone from their old ADSL lines, and they might have been getting, say, 10/0.5 or something like that, and they go to this NBN fibre to the node and they're getting about 4 or even worse. So yeah, it's just a disaster. Rarely do I get emotionally depressed about these sort of political things, but when I saw what happened to our NBN, it was, I don't know, as far as I'm concerned, Malcolm Turnbull just sort of like took a crowbar from Kmart and smashed the bloody knees of Australia's economy doing that, and just so someone could stick a few bucks into his pocket. I mean, it never happens, but I would love to see them being called to account over that. Maybe it's not treason, of the to the country, but it's something pretty close. You're gonna get me raging. Oh crap! It's 1:45 here in the morning. I need to go to sleep, so I'm gonna go to sleep. Yes, it's a joke. All right, I'm gonna finish up here. Thank you very much for all attending. I will upload this code and leave a remark somewhere. What else? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I'm good. Okay. Alright. Thank you all. I'll see you guys next time. I'll probably do a couple of pre-recorded videos, and then hopefully I'll get my workshop cleaned up and we'll be able to do some more decent live streams in the workshop.